How's it going, guys? So, I haven't commented on the elections and all the stuff that's been going on with the elections in a very long time, for many reasons. I kind of at some point vowed to myself that I would just kind of let this whole process play out, but something that I caught way early in this whole thing, and something that I was posting, and something that a lot of people did not even consider, you know, among all of the bombardment of all of the evidence and all of the content and all of the PDFs and all the screenshots that I was posting, things get lost. People can't just see everything. There's so much information that people get lost in the weeds. However, today, something happened which basically prompted me to bring forth one of these pieces of evidence again. And now it's more relevant than ever because now it's just kind of like, it's going to stare everybody right in the face. I don't know if you guys noticed or saw that a certain senator by the name of Josh Hawley, he became the first senator in the Senate to raise an objection and to basically say that he is not going to certify the Electoral College vote because there have been irregularities and not just irregularities but basically fraud. Outright fraud, and obviously, the leftist media, the deep state media, basically went, just went against him, and I think, what's her name, Rachel Maddow posted something, and that he's, basically trying to overturn the election, etc., the usual nonsense, and then a certain senator by the name of Amy Klobuchar, I don't know if you guys remember, she ran for president. She tried to run for president. She did not win, the nomination. I don't remember what state she is from, but she basically came out and said, and she wrote this on Twitter, that this Senator Josh Hawley is attempting a coup, right? He's trying to make a coup, and he's in dereliction of democracy, stuff like that. So, in light of that, my friends, what I'm going to read to you now, word for word, is a letter that was written and signed off on by, and this letter is available on the Senator Elizabeth Warren's page, Senate, official government Senate page. They released a PR, and then they released the actual letter itself. It's a PDF. So I'm going to read to you guys a letter. The letter was released in December 2019, and I'm going to read to you guys the letter. It's going to read to you like word for word everything, including the letterhead. Congress of the United. Actually, you know what? I could show you guys, so you guys could see what I'm talking about, and then I'll read from it. Okay, this is an official here. You see? Here you go. You can go here. Right, this is Elizabeth Warren's page. Right, this is the PR of the letter, December 10th, 2019, and then you click your text of the letters PDF. Click here. Thank you very much. This is just so you guys know that this is totally legit. And I'm just going to read to you guys from this letter what it said. Okay. Congress of the United States, Washington, D.C., 20510, December 6th. Also, the letter was written December 6th, and the PR came out December 10th. This is addressed to two people, this letter. It's addressed to the founders and the co-chief CEOs of a company called HIG Capital, LLC, which have offices in Miami, 1415 Brickell Avenue, 31st floor. And actually, I think they also have offices in, I believe, New York. I'm not sure. I'll have to check that. But the names of these guys are Sami Mnaimne and Tony Tamer. Okay. Dear Misters Mnaimne and Tamer, we are writing to request... so these letters... just before I start reading the letter, these letters were written by, together, if you read the bottom, by Elizabeth Warren, Amy Klobuchar, Ron Wyden, and Mark Pocan. These are all Democratic senators. Okay. Dear Mr. Mnaimne and Tamer, we are writing to request information regarding HIG Capital's investment in Hart Intercivic, Inc., one of the 3 election technology vendors responsible for developing and manufacturing and maintaining the vast majority of voting machines and software in the United States, and to request information about your firm's structure and finances as it relates to this company. Some private equity funds operate under a model where they purchase controlling interests in companies and implement drastic cost-cutting measures at the expense of consumers, workers, communities, and taxpayers. Recent examples include Toys R Us and Shopko. For that reason, we have concerns about the spread and effect of private equity investment in many sectors of the economy, including the election technology industry, an integral part of our nation's democratic process. We are particularly concerned that secretive and trouble-plagued companies owned by private equity firms and responsible for manufacturing and maintaining voting machines, other election administration equipment have long skimped on security in favor of convenience, leaving voting systems across the country prone to security problems. In light of these concerns, we request that you provide information about your firm, the portfolio companies in which it has invested, the performance of these investments, and the ownership and financial structure of your funds. Over the last 2 decades, the election technology industry has become highly concentrated, with a handful of consolidated vendors controlling the vast majority of the market. In the early 2000s, almost 20 vendors competed in the election technology market. Today, 3 large vendors, Election Systems and Software, Dominion Voting Systems, and Hart Intercivic, collectively provide voting machines and software that facilitate voting for over 90% of all eligible voters in the United States. Private equity firms reportedly own or control each of these vendors, with very limited information available in the public domain about their operations and financial performance. While experts estimate that the total revenue for election technology vendors is about $300 million, there is no publicly available information on how much those vendors dedicate to research and development, maintenance of voting systems, or profits and executive compensation. Concentration in the election technology market and the fact that vendors are often more seasoned in voting machine and technical services contract negotiations than local election officials give these companies incredible power in their negotiations with local and state governments. As a result, jurisdictions are often caught in expensive agreements in which the same vendor or both sells or leases and repairs and maintains voting systems, leaving local officials dependent on the vendor, and the vendor with little incentive to substantially overhaul and improve its products. In fact, the Election Assistance Commission, the EAC, the primary federal body responsible for developing voluntary guidance on voting technology standards, advises state and local officials to consider the cost to purchase or lease, operate, and maintain a voting system over its lifespan, and to know how the vendors plan to be profitable when signing contracts, because vendors typically make their profits by ensuring that they will be around to maintain it after the sale. The EAC has warned election officials that if you do not manage the vendors, they will manage you. Election security experts have noted for years that our nation's election systems and infrastructure are under serious threat. In January 2017, if you guys remember, the whole Trump thing, hacking, Russia, blah, 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 U.S. Department of Homeland Security designated the United States election infrastructure as critical infrastructure in order to prioritize the protection of our elections and to more effectively assist state and local election officials in addressing these risks. However, voting machines are reportedly falling apart across the country as vendors neglect to innovate and improve important voting systems, putting our elections at avoidable increased rates. You guys may be saying, well, okay, so these things are old. It doesn't mean we have election fraud. I continue. In 2015, election officials in at least 31 states, representing approximately 40 million registered voters, reported that their voting machines needed to be updated, with almost every state using some machines that are no longer manufactured, aka discontinued. That's what I'm just adding my own language. Moreover, even when state and local officials work on replacing antiquated machines, many continue to run old software that will soon be outdated and more vulnerable to hackers. In 2018 alone, okay, so here's where it gets juicy, my friends. Again, a letter written by Amy Klobuchar and Elizabeth Warren, a couple other guys, to the people investing in Dominion Voting Systems and Hart Civic. In 2018 alone, voters in South Carolina were reporting machines that switched their votes after they'd inputted them. Scanners were rejecting paper ballots in Missouri, and busted machines were causing long lines in Indiana. I'm going to read this again. In 2010 alone, voters in South Carolina were reporting machines that switched their votes after they'd inputted them. Scanners were rejecting paper ballots in Missouri, and busted machines were causing long lines in Indiana. In addition, researchers recently uncovered previously undisclosed vulnerabilities in nearly 36 back-end election systems in 10 states. And just this year, after the Democratic candidate's electronic tally showed he received an improbable 164 votes out of 55,000 cast in a Pennsylvania state judicial election in 2019, the county's Republican chairwoman said, "Nothing went right on election day. Everything went wrong. That's a problem. These problems threaten the integrity of our elections, demonstrate the importance of election systems that are strong, durable, and not vulnerable to attack." Guys, you should know that there's a video of a Democratic state senator from I think either Michigan or Georgia. Georgia, who was standing up in, I guess, November 2019 and screaming about how the Secretary of State is in cahoots with the Dominion voting systems. And now, if you talk to her, crickets are chirping. Okay? I continue. HIG reportedly owns or has had investments in Hart Intercivic, a major election technology vendor. In order to help us understand your firm's role in this sector, we ask that you provide answers to the following questions no later than December 20th, 2019. Number 1, please provide the disclosure documents information enumerated in sections 501 and 503 of the Stop Wall Street Looting Act. Number 2, which election technology companies, including all affiliates or related entities, does HIG have a stake in or own? Please provide the name of and brief description of the services each company provides. Basically, they asked them for all this stuff, all these different things, affiliates, services, blah, 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 name of the company, ownership stake, blah, blah, blah. They're asking all this information, right? Different due diligence things. Yeah, sees it. Has any election technology company, including all affiliates or related entities in which HIG has an ownership stake, la la la, reached a settlement with any state or local jurisdiction related to a potential violation or breach of contract? If so, please provide la la. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Sincerely, Elizabeth Warren, signature, United States Senator, Amy Klobuchar, United States Senator, Ron Wyden, United States Senator, and Mark Pocan, member of Congress, House of Representatives. Oh, this is the second part of the letter. Here we go. Okay, so this is addressed to Michael McCarthy, Chairman, McCarthy Group, LLC. So they invested in election systems and software. I want to get to the part where they talk about... Okay, so now they're just repeating the same things that I just read to you, but then they're also getting into issues. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So they wrote this to this guy, and then they also wrote it to the same thing. Oh, Staple Street. Yes. So these are the guys. Stephen Owens, Managing Director of Staple Street Capital, and Hutan Yagubzadeh, Managing Director of Staple Street Capital. These guys are in the city. And these are the guys that invested in Dominion voting systems. Right? And it's the same letter that I just read to you guys. It was addressed to them. This is like the third copy of the letter, just addressed to them. Basically the same thing. It's a carbon copy, just addressed to them because they invested in Dominion voting systems. And now, one of the people, my friends, again, I'm repeating to you, one of the people, Amy Klobuchar, who had concerns, who put her name on this letter, had concerns about Dominion voting systems and Intercivic, is now coming out and saying to this Mr. Hawley, Josh Hawley, that he is basically, trying to stage a coup. So I really want to ask the question of these Democratic senators. Do you have a problem with our voting machines today? Do you have a problem with them? Did something change? Maybe they fixed them. I don't know. If they fixed them, please let us know. Please do your best, your utmost kind of in-depth investigation, and let us know. Maybe there's something we're missing. Maybe there's something we don't understand. Maybe since this letter was written, maybe these companies addressed all these issues. I highly doubt it, but maybe they did. And if they did, maybe you guys could confirm that, since you guys were on top of this, right? Since you guys were the ones who wrote the letters. You wanted a response by December 20th. I don't know if you got that response. Probably not. Not that I've seen. I'm really curious. I'm really curious to hear your opinion on the matter today. And if you don't have an opinion on the matter, then that just makes you a hypocrite and a political hack, and you should sit down. You should sit down and not talk. Because if you talk, the emperor is not going to have any clothes. All your hypocritical BS is going to be exposed. I hope you understand that. And my friends, those of you who are watching, what I recommend to you is take this video, take this clip, spread it far and wide. I don't know that it's going to matter, but at least you'll understand what we're dealing with. You'll understand that these people are basically just liars. They're liars and they're criminals. Everything they've been doing, this is basically has been what I like to call the great projection. Everything they've been doing, they've been accusing other people right from the beginning, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whenever this was, right from the beginning, everybody else of doing what they did. They were accusing Trump, accusing this guy, accusing that guy, of doing what they themselves did. And it's just been an incredible, incredible projection. And then what they do is they gaslight. They pretend like the person who's accused, who's showing them their stuff to their face like a mirror. They make the person feel like they're crazy. They say, what election fraud, what this, what that, this has been debunked, this is like this is like that, and they just deny. Why did they do this? Well, in their heads, the ends justify the means, by any means necessary. And they believe that they are the good guys, so the good guys get to do whatever they want, meaning in their own heads, in their own little stupid heads. They believe that they're doing something noble. They believe that, the person that they're fighting is Hitler, and so it's like, what would you do if a Hitler? You would do anything possible, right? You would do anything. I don't know. You would commit treason to get rid of such a person, right? You would go against the law. You would go above the law. You would just take any allies you have in the media and social media, and newspapers and television, and you would just go after this person. If you so constructed such a framework in your head, and you convinced other people that this person is like a Hitler, right? Even though he's not, right? But if you so convince yourself of that, then in your own head, everything you're doing is moral. There's no such thing as immorality, right? And this is what they're doing. And it doesn't matter if you show them, stuff that they said, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Nothing matters. When ends justify the means, absolutely, my friends, nothing matters. But unfortunately for them, PDFs matter, their stuff that was published on their own websites matter. Facts do matter. It's just a matter of enough people hearing them, enough people seeing them, and not only seeing them and hearing them, but hearing and seeing them when it counts, and at the right moments. And so my friends, I guess this could be the right moment. Today's December 30th, it's 2020. In about a week, we have, January 6th, we have this situation in the Congress, and also Mike Pence is going to be involved, and we'll see what happens, my friends. But you know what? This lady should take a good look in the mirror. She's accusing somebody of, I don't know, committing a coup. I mean, she can include herself in that. She can include herself. If she has a problem with admitting voting systems, I mean, I don't know. Anyways, guys, just wanted to run that by you. I haven't spoken about this election in a very long time in the open, but now it seems super relevant. Not just super relevant, but just, I would say, something that, you have to be a total you-know-what to refute or try to refute or try to defend, because it's indefensible at this point. So, all right, guys, it's been real, and I'll talk to you guys soon.